Do I still speak Ukrainian? This is a question I get so often. And naturally, I get this question because I started on social media with me doing a challenge of learning Ukrainian. And I've really documented this process on how I learned Ukrainian and me going out into my community and speaking Ukrainian. And it was a really great time.
Звідки ти?
Я?
З України.
Ні, я не з України. Ви почали минулого тижня?
I learned Ukrainian fairly quickly, but unfortunately, I don't even know how to answer this question, to be honest. So, for this video, I really wanted to talk about languages that are dormant, languages that you haven't spoken in a while. I know so many people that have taken so much time in their life to study a language and unfortunately have not had the chance to use that language in a meaningful way. And that for me is the case with Ukrainian and I would even say Russian. I can count on one hand the amount of times I've had to speak Ukrainian in the last 4 or 5 years. I'm not even joking. I rarely have spoken Ukrainian, and it's really sad because I have spent so much time learning Ukrainian when I was learning it 5 or 6 years ago. And it's even more sad that I actually love Ukrainian. I loved speaking Ukrainian. I loved learning Ukrainian. And I just love the language. I love how it sounds. I love how Ukrainians light up with enthusiasm when they find out that I speak Ukrainian. I just love it. Ukrainians are so proud of their language, so proud of their culture and their heritage. And the language is a huge part of that. Language is a huge part of their identity. And I feel like Ukrainian, I feel is the same way I feel about Catalan, where once people know that you speak it, it's like, whoa, this is a serious thing. A lot of people study Spanish, not so many study Catalan. In the same way, a lot of people study Russian, but not a lot of people study Ukrainian. So it means a lot to these people once they see that you speak their language. For me, it's just how life has gotten. I've gotten really busy with life, and I unfortunately just have not had the chance to speak Ukrainian. I've not had the chance to not only speak it, but I have not had the chance to keep up with my Ukrainian. You know, I love languages, I love learning languages, but at the same time, it is really a struggle for me to keep up with certain languages, especially how I don't really find anyone to talk to in these languages and I barely use them. A lot of people love to turn to me for advice and ask me questions on how to keep up with a language they haven't spoken in a while. And the truth is, I'm going to be a bit vulnerable. I don't even know. I don't have the magic formula for keeping up with languages, keeping up with some languages because I myself I'm struggling with that. I don't know. Do you guys have any advice for me? Because I just feel in our modern day to day living, a lot of us are working, a lot of us are busy with life. The North American lifestyle is sometimes really difficult. So many are having difficulty finding time for hobbies with a North American lifestyle. And I really wanted to talk about this because it's really something that I don't have the solution for. Because if I had all the time in the world, if I didn't have to work, if I just lived life on my own terms, I think I would find the time for Ukrainian and all my lovely languages. But the thing is, these languages, I feel like it's like having a lot of children, okay? Some are just neglected, unfortunately. And you only have 24 hours in a day. Where are you going to put all your 24 hours? That is up to you and that is up to me. But honestly, I haven't even found any kind of justification for even using 30 minutes out of my day to refresh on Ukrainian because sometimes I ask myself, is this even worth it? Like, I sometimes ask, what's the point of doing this if I'm not even using it, you know? And a big part of it is also the environment. I'm not in contact with native speakers the way I'm in contact with French and English. Because with French and English, you bet I use these two languages for work in a professional setting and also in an informal context. Like I use French and English constantly, and I'm just yapping right now, thinking of ways to incorporate it in my daily life. Because the thing is, what I've done in the past is I've been studying languages, spending so much time learning them. Like an incredible amount of time for it not to be used. After all those years, I just felt like it was a waste of time. And I know deep inside it's not a waste of time. It really isn't. But you get to a point where you start thinking that. So now I gotta really think of a plan. What am I doing? I feel like I have to do something meaningful with my languages to keep them. I think I have to graduate from just going to my Ukrainian bakery. As much as I love my local bakeries and local Ukrainian bookstore and my local Ukrainian restaurants, I really am thinking I gotta find a better way to make more out of the language. So in this video, I'm just yapping, I'm just thinking. I'm now in a point of reflection and thinking about what I've done in the past that has worked and what's different now. I think my ability to speak different languages has changed over time. And I definitely felt there was a point in time where I was just well rounded in all of my languages, and I felt really confident in most and if not all of my languages. And I really am taking the time to look at that point in my life, where I was before and where I am now. Why do I feel now like I'm stuck in a rut? What is going on? And a big part of it is environment. Back in the day, back when I was in my late teens, early 20s, that was really the height of my language learning and the height of my proficiency in all of my languages. And I remember I used to do language exchanges. I know not everyone has the opportunity to travel, to just go hop on a plane and go to a different country and spend some time and practice the languages like that. I'm really fortunate to be in a multilingual, multicultural city. Before, I used to be so active with language exchanges in my city, to the point where I was in a language exchange like 5 times a week. Okay. I remember it was one night for Portuguese, one night for Chinese, one night for French, one night for Russian. I would sign up for Russian speaking events all the time in my city. By the way, this was like before 2020. I think the year 2020 has completely shaped the way we do things and has kind of derailed me in a way that I still haven't recovered from. So I'm really glad I'm yapping in front of a camera in nature in this beautiful spring, summer weather, because now I'm thinking and reflecting on what actually has worked for me before. The fact is, I've done it before. I've been in a really good place with my language learning before, and I want to go back there and I want to share a bit with you guys what I did before and what I'm going to do now to kind of get back to that vibe and that rhythm and that momentum. You know what I mean? I think for this year, I want to consider doing some language exchanges. I don't even know if they still exist, but before 2020, it was a total thing. I'm going to try to see if there are still some in my city. I think that would be a great way for me personally to revive some of these languages that are dormant, that are kind of weak. So, yeah, try to look in your city if there are any language exchanges available. I don't know what exists in your city, but there are apps like I use this app called Meetup. I'm not sponsored by them whatsoever, but this app was the one I used to look at where all the language exchanges were in my city. I actually used to host language exchanges myself in the school I was in and the university I was in. Like on campus, I would be in charge of organizing language exchanges specifically for Chinese. Yes, I did have a phase where I was really serious in learning Mandarin and Cantonese, more Mandarin than Cantonese, but I was really into that. I was such a nerd. Guys, some of y'all have no idea. I was so serious in learning Chinese to the point where I just got to make a whole different video of that because Those were the days, you know? Anyways, I would host these language exchanges and I would have people learning English and I would have those learning Cantonese and Mandarin. I would prepare activities, I would have a structure in place. And it was just such a good vibe, you know? And frankly, I do not think I would have continued learning Chinese if it weren't for those language exchanges. If it weren't for the language exchanges that I was organizing and the language exchanges that I was attending to learn Chinese, because learning how to read and write in Chinese, it's so insanely difficult. But it was those group, it was being social, and it was that beautiful exchange between native speakers and learners that I was really able to step up my level of Chinese at that time. And I was thinking, why can't I do that again? Like, why can't I do that for Ukrainian? Like, should I start a Ukrainian language exchange? I don't know. I think it was those language exchanges that gave so much of us the ability to feel the momentum of learning a language, the ability to be in a safe space and practice languages, you know? Language exchanges are so incredibly important because people are learning from each other. So typically, I would have people learning English and I would have people learning Mandarin, and they would learn each other's languages. And I think that's such a beautiful thing to have. You absolutely need to speak your target language in order to improve. You need to speak with native speakers. Language exchanges offer a safe place to practice those languages without the need to fly to a different country and live there, because not everyone can do that. And I was just thinking of maybe the idea of having online language exchanges, you know? Like, why don't we start that? And I was thinking, why don't we do more of that? We need like more online language exchanges or in-person language exchanges in our community. So yeah, let's do this. Let's start this revolution of language exchanges, you know? Aside from language exchanges, I do plan to do more traveling in the future. I think traveling is a beautiful thing. It's something that can broaden your mind. There's just something about traveling that it just does something to you. And I know myself, I haven't had the chance to travel, unfortunately, due to certain circumstances in my life, personal circumstances. It's just saddens me a little bit, to be honest, especially the fact that I am someone who would love to travel. I dream of traveling, and the reason why I learned so many languages was actually for a future of travel. And I haven't had the opportunity to do that. And it's kind of sad. Imagine me, I've learned so many languages. At this point, I could speak to like most of the European Union by now. Like, and it's definitely something I really want to do. But like, if you're in a circumstance where you can't do something, I really think you should do what you can with what you have. This is like the biggest lesson that language learning has taught me, is that you got to work with what you have. Because if you don't have the ability to travel, do a language exchange, make an online community, do something. Like, we have the internet right now, we have social media, we have online communities, and the ability to make connections with people from all around the world. I should really be shifting our mindset to really take advantage of this. Instead of me being like, oh, what's the point of learning Ukrainian? There's like no native speakers in my area. There's no one I could talk to, and making excuses for not doing the thing I want to do. Why don't I do what's within my realm of possibilities? That is the mindset shift that language learning has taught me, because I, at one point, didn't have money to learn Arabic. I learned to really use whatever is available on the internet. I barely spent any money learning Arabic, while all these people are, spending thousands of dollars learning modern standard Arabic from a university course. Like, am I gonna be sitting here saying, oh, I didn't have the $2,000 to take a university course at my local like university, so I'm not gonna learn Arabic? No, I'm gonna turn to the internet, do with what I can, and when you do what you can, I believe things will just open up for you. So if you are learning a language right now and you feel you're stuck, we got to find a way You and I, we got to find a way to do with what we can. If you can't travel, if you don't have the money to take courses for a language class, like we got to do with what we can. Okay? This video is getting a bit too long, but my main point is all the answers are in here. All the answers are within yourself. I sincerely believe that once something is meant for you and you do something from within your heart, things will work out for you. You will find the right people, you will find the right tribe, you will find the right opportunities. Opportunities will just come to you when you are aligned with what's in here. Okay? I hope you have an amazing day. And if you like this content, please like and subscribe. I'll see you all in the next video. Take care.